Okay, welcome to another Zoom call. It is October 25th, 2023. Just a reminder for anybody listening, any new people listening, look at the announcements, any announcements on the member site. Look at your member site. We are amazed literally on a daily basis sometimes of the people that we talk to that have never been on the member site or haven't been on the member site for a very long time. And that's not to shame you. I know we're not here to create these dependent people, but when there's questions that you have and they're addressed, we want you to be pointed in the right direction. We don't want you to be not getting your questions answered. So make sure you go on the member site and look at it. Also, if you do want an educational coaching call, meaning you want to talk to me on the telephone, make sure you fill out the coaching call request form. It's on the member site as well, and you can pay for it on the member site as well. Try to make this as easy as possible. Also, we're trying to give you as much information as possible. All our courses, all of these are available to you for free, being full members. So make sure you look at those as well. And all our blogs are available. We have over 1,000 blogs, I think, now, with maybe some things, questions that you might have that might be answered on that. So look at that as well. I posted a video on the TrueRife updates. I'm going to talk a little bit about that first because we're getting a lot of people calling in because we sent out an email the other day. So understand TrueRife is updating their software. So let's do a little bit of education. I apologize for people that are computer illiterate. And there's a lot of people that know a lot more about computers than me. But if you are running your software, there's a difference between software and the program that you're running. So the program that you're running is inside the software. So the program might be the program that I created for you with your overnight sets and your short sets. Or the program might be one of the TrueRife programs. Maybe you're running a fungal program or something like that. That's the program within the software. And the program contains a lot of components, including frequencies, the most important component. But there's duty cycles and dwell cycles and fuzz and different things that make up the program that help the program to work so that those frequencies are coming through the bulb. So then there's software. The software is what basically carries that program. So the software, when people started with us back years and years ago, we were using the F117 version model of hardware. So now I just used another word. Hardware, the machine itself, the generator. The bulb is hardware. The wires are hardware. The program itself is the software. So the software that's running, the version of software that's running the program, that's all part of software. So TrueRife updated the F117 model hardware to the F122 model hardware, what, 3 years ago? So, I mean, if you started with us before 3 years ago, maybe it was 4 years ago, I don't remember the date, you might have an F117 hardware. So that's the machine you have, the TrueRife F117. If you have that, understand the new TrueRife company is not going to support that any longer. So if it breaks, you're going to have to just buy a whole new unit. But right now, they're offering an upgrade only for 1 more week. You can change in your F117 to a free brand new F122 for $1,500. Why are they doing it so cheap? Because they don't want to service the F117 anymore. So it just costs them money to have people on board to service the older machines. They don't want to do it anymore. So it's just a business decision they're making. It has nothing to do with us. We're just trying to educate you so you understand that. So if you have an F122, forget about that. You already have the latest hardware. If you have an F117, seriously consider upgrading to the F122 because that's the latest hardware. So they're not going to support the F117 anymore. Does that mean everybody with an F-117 should upgrade to an F-122? No, it doesn't mean that. I mean, your machine still could last 10, 15 years. I don't know. But if it breaks in a week after this offer is done, then you're going to have to pay full price. So that's the risk you're going to have to decide and weigh out. So if you have an F-122, forget everything I just said there. You already have the latest hardware. If you have an F-117, you only have till November 6th or 7th. Really, TrueRife set a hard date of October 31st. But then Jake told me that all our patients, if they call in and say, hey, I'm a patient of Dr. Connors, he'll give them one more week. And it's a hard close on that. He said, we have to do a hard close. There's just nothing we can do. So you only have till November 6th or 7th that you have to talk to them, get your F-117 back to them to get it exchanged for the new model. So once you have the new model, if you have an F-122, now we're talking about upgrading to a different software. So remember, software is the version 5.0. Nobody has that on the F-122, so forget about that. You have version 5.0 on some of the older F-117s. Then you have version 6.0 that came out a year and a half ago. And then you have version 6.1, 6.2, 6.4 that came out in the last 6 months. If you're running version 6.0, do you have to upgrade to software version 6.4? So 6.1 and 6.2 aren't available anymore. It's either 6.0 or 6.4. Do you have to? The answer is no. Well, on your member site, I created a video about this. So just know, if you're running version 6.0, you do not need to upgrade to 6.4. Matter of fact, Jake at TrueRife told me the other day that they're coming out with a new version 7.0 in about 3 months. So if you're running 6.0 and it's running well for you, just keep running that. Please understand that the version of software you're running does not make the program stronger. So it's not going to heal your cancer better. I want to upgrade to 6.4 because it's going to heal my cancer better. No, it's not. Okay, it's not. It's the frequencies that are running. So think of the version as the car. You're either going to drive, a Volkswagen, home, or you're going to drive a Cadillac home. They're both going to get you there at the same time if you're, driving the speed limit. The version doesn't make any difference. The Cadillac has more bells and whistles and it might be more comfortable. Well, that's what they're trying to change with the versions. It's going to be more comfortable. There's going to be more user-friendly things to it. It'll be fancier. I think there's benefits to the 6.4. I think there's good things that they're doing with the upgrades. So I think it's very positive, but it's making a lot of TrueRife users angry because they're used to something. Well, it's hard for any of us to change when we're used to something. Well, you know what? Life is about change. And you're either growing or you're standing still or you're moving backwards. That's just kind of life. So we just got to get used to it, and we want to improve. We're supposed to be seeking never-ending improvement, and this is part of it. So regardless of whether you like that or not, this company is making these decisions and we have to go with it. So there's choices if you do choose to upgrade to 6.4, there's choices that you can follow to do so. You can send us the computer back and we'll do it for you, or you could do it on your own, and I have full instructions how to do that on the member site. So how to do it on the member site, understand, we had some people send us their computer back. Now they have 6.4 on their computer, and they bought a new computer with us. Now they have 6.4. It takes 2 extra clicks to get to your program. It's just 2 extra clicks. So we detail that out. We give you a form, a sheet to how to do that. If any of you started with us in the last month or so and you're already running 6.4, you're like, what do you mean 2 extra clicks? Because you're used to it, okay? It's not really that hard, is it? So it's just 2 extra clicks to get to your program. So don't worry about it. But there's instructions on the member site and on the frequency course on how to do all of that. Otherwise, you can send it back to us and do it. But remember, if you already are running 6.0, just leave it. Just run it until 7.0 comes out, and we can do it then. So you don't have to send it in twice. Okay, done with that. If you can't understand what I just said, rewind it, and listen to all that again, maybe 5 times if you're really computer illiterate. So if you're running 6.0, just leave it right now. So first question is about that. Been out of the country, just received an email from Rife about the Rife upgrade. Would like to update during this time that it's free. But the Rife website states there is a problem with 6.4, so they're only offering 6.0 right now. Will they extend the time to upgrade free once the 6.4 bug is fixed? I don't know, but you have to make sure you do this when they offer that 6.4 again. So make sure you follow these instructions or you're going to lose your program. Or send it to us and we can upgrade you to 6.4. But there's a fee for that. It's $85 right now. And we'll extend that fee. You know, I said on the video that it's only till the end of December or whatever. But we're going to extend that fee to, because now they're going to upgrade to 7.0. So we're going to probably keep that fee maybe for a long time. So don't worry about that fee. We'll take care of our people and get this done. So I think I answered that question already. Okay. Scented chest x-ray results. Wondered if you could go over them. I saw a new occupational therapist yesterday that has advanced training in edema. Yesterday, I was doing borage oil compresses on legs and Yarrow tea compresses on liver, and I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. My right chest hurt where the cancer started, where the metastasis really started. Or maybe underneath where the cancer started in your breast, you mean. I have noticed this sometimes when doing my lymphatic exercises too. My therapist told me my body was trying, but can't get rid of the fluid that fast to slow down. After gaining about 10 pounds in a couple of weeks, my oncologist is a bit concerned. Okay, let's stop right there a second. So the pain that you're getting and you're feeling like you're having a heart attack is because of the x-ray. So the x-ray, not because of the x-ray, but what the x-ray revealed. The x-ray revealed fluid in your lungs, your mediastinal area around your heart. So it was obliterating the border of your heart. So when a radiologist looks at an x-ray, you can see a border of your heart where the heart cavity is, and a border of your lungs. And when that border is obliterated, that tells us that there's fluid there obliterating that border. So you can't see a nice clean border of a lung border or a liver border or a heart border. So when there's the border is obliterated, it's showing that there's fluid there. And if there's fluid there, it can compress the heart and it can put pressure on the heart and it could damage the heart, worst case scenario. So you want to make sure that if that is ascites fluid there, that you get that fluid drained. That can make you feel 100 times better. Now, the 10 pounds you gained certainly isn't all in your lungs. So obviously there's fluid in your legs and things like that as well. Remember, when you are getting your lymph pumped back into trying to get the fluid out of your tissues, where is it going? It's going into the lymph vessels. Where is that going? That's going into your venous system, your veins. And then where is that going? That's ultimately going through your liver and hopefully in your kidneys, and hopefully you're getting rid of it. But if your kidneys and liver are overwhelmed, then you're not going to be able to get rid of it as fast. So make sure, just as we talk about in the 7 phases of detoxification, we could have phases of lymphatic detoxification as well. That fluid has to be able to get out through the liver downstream from the tissues. So make sure you're supporting your liver. Put a hot pack over your liver. Do castor oil packs over your liver. Do coffee enemas. That's going to be one of the best things you could do to get lymphatic system going. Or coffee enemas helping the lymphatic system. They're helping your liver, helping your parasympathetics, and that will help your lymphatic systems. Another thing I noticed when I gave myself the Hellebora shot, that's the certain type of mistletoe, 3/4 the dose, I had the same chest pain. That's because the mistletoe is causing an inflammatory reaction. That's the whole purpose of this. This is supposed to reduce the inflammation. Oh yeah, the Helleborus does help reduce the inflammation compared to the other mistletoe, but you're getting inflammation from it. It's totally because of inflammation. Not sure if the edema is from the chemo pill, the radiation, the Helleborus, or a combination of all. Oncologist doesn't believe it's from the chemo, of course. Can you test for Helleborus? I can. So I can test if I think that is not going to be perfect, but I can do cheek swab testing to see if it's from that. This is getting so confusing. Yeah, you can just do a process of elimination, kind of like a food elimination, or hey, I'm going to stay off the Helleborus for a period of time. What does that change? You're only changing one thing. What does it change in your symptoms? Oh, you said it right here. I'll probably just continue the mistletoe for a few weeks. I don't know. I think that would be a good idea. Instead of testing, I would just stop it for a period of time. Then you'll know right away if there's a change in that. You know, the truth is too, with any of these type of things, you could have a sensitivity to these things and it's reacting at a totally different level. So that's a possibility too. Are you familiar with Floridex? It's a vegetarian liquid supplement that supports healthy iron levels. This was suggested to use to help bring up hemoglobin. So this is Floridex. We have it in the store. There's things that I like about it. It's got some really good herbs for blood building. One thing I don't like about it, it's got cyanocobalamin, but I think it's a fairly low dose, so I think it's just naturally occurring. So that's the only thing I don't like about Floridex. But yeah, that's a good, we've had lots of people use it and it really helps. So that can help bring up, you know, iron levels, your hemoglobin levels that can be beneficial. Can you go over COVID supplementation recommendations that folks could have on hand, I presume, over the winter? So most of the people listening to this are already taking a lot of immune supplements. You're already taking, you know, vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D, you know, things that we have in our Clear CV, which was created solely for COVID. I never recommend that for cancer patients because you're already taking everything that's in that. That's the biggest thing. So remember, COVID is a virus, and viruses and flu viruses and things that are going to be happening in the next several months can really bring you down. And so what do you do for a virus? Well, you guys have one of the best things for a virus sitting in your home. It's called a Rife machine. So make sure you run the right programs for COVID. Make sure you run the right viral programs if you feel like you're coming down with something. Certainly, you can up your immune stimulants if you feel like you're coming down with something. I have several blog posts about different things you can do for viruses, so look that up as well. Our Clear CV product for other family members can be really beneficial because it has all the different things in it for viruses. We're actually going to be reformulating that the next couple of months, adding vitamin A to that as well. So that's a good product to use. Any of your mushroom products are really good for COVID. Now, if you're exposed to truly is it COVID, now, problem is if you go and get a COVID test, those are so blasted irrelevant at this point, and they're absolutely completely inaccurate. So to me, it's not worth doing it. It's never worth doing a COVID test. I never would have ever, you know, they would have had to put a gun to my head before I would have got a COVID test. So I don't think they're good tests. And I think they give false information, but it doesn't mean that you don't have a virus. So that being said, should you then treat the virus? Well, by all means, you should treat your body whenever you're not feeling well and try to stimulate your immune system to be able to kill this stuff. So absolutely, you should be taking care of it. Do I believe COVID was real? Absolutely. I believe it was a real virus and it was dangerous to a lot of people. But how they treated it in hospitals was criminal. I think there should be, you know, a million doctors and nurses in jail right now. Really, the powers that be that forced their hand to do what they did. A lot of them did it not wanting to do it, but still that doesn't give you an excuse for doing something that's wrong. So that being said, there's a lot of natural things you could do for viruses, for flus, for colds and bacterial infections. And we have a lot of stuff on our blog post on that too. I'm interested in getting a sauna for sweating sessions. I'm confused as to whether to buy one with the red light spectrum, 600 nanometers, or the near infrared spectrum, 840 nanometers, and the 980 nanometers from each diode, like the Therasage 360 has, or one from Sauna.space that claims that their bulb produces a full spectrum infrared light that mimics the solar spectrum. The one at Sauna.space looks nice. Okay, so we've talked about this lots and lots of times. So all these companies that make saunas claim their lights are better for one reason or the other. The truth is, none of them are really giving true infrared, far infrared, near infrared spectrum technology. They are just art. Their little heat lighting source would have to cost $5,000 by itself in order for it to give true infrared spectrum technology. Matter of fact, if you buy like our infrared heating unit for breast cancer or liver cancer or wherever you're going to use it, no light comes out of it because it is under the light spectrum, hence the infrared terminology on it. So really, you're buying a sauna to heat. So forget about all the claims that they make. I just think, honestly, yeah, you're getting a little bit of these things. Just throw those out. You're not getting any really healing qualities of all that other stuff. You're buying a sauna to heat your body up so that you sweat. That's the whole purpose. And hopefully, maybe even heat your body up so you increase your internal temperature. You increase your temperature. That would even be great. And lots of saunas any sauna will do that. So just get one where, it's inexpensive. Lots of times you can find saunas on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace because a lot of people buy saunas and then don't use them and then they just have to get rid of them. So look on that too. You just want a sauna that's going to heat up, quickly, unless your lifestyle is, hey, I don't mind if it takes 20 minutes to heat up, I'll just go do something and then come back and that's fine. Just, get a sauna that you're going to use. Personally, I have a sauna and I like the ones where my head sticks out because I get a little claustrophobic in a sauna. It has nothing to do with the claustrophobic of a space constriction, but it has to do with I feel like I can't breathe, and it partly has to do with my sinus issues. So I like my head exposed. So that's the sauna that I use, and it's 10 feet behind me right now in my office. But it works really well. It heats up really fast. But get one that you like. Don't worry about all that other stuff. Dr. Connors recommended adding liposomal glutathione to my protocol after my DNA test results came in. I have been avoiding glutathione after reading How to Starve Your Cancer by Jane McClellan and after reading Naturopathic Oncology by Dr. McKinney. It was said both said to avoid glutathione because it's a strong antioxidant that may encourage cancer growth. In truth, not to toot my own horn, but I think both those people got that information from my book, Stop Fighting Cancer, because I was, I believe, one of the first people that said that you should avoid glutathione with cancer. Now, I have since reversed that standpoint. So I don't think it's wrong to support your body with antioxidants. So I've reversed that through different research that's come out, other things that I've been reading, and you could disagree with me, that's fine, and other doctors could disagree with me, that's fine, but my stance is that I'm just going to constantly be trying to learn and grow and not take a dogmatic position in anything. So if I learn something new, I'm going to change what I thought was right, and now I know better. Maybe I'm wrong on this too. So I don't know, but I think now it's good to support that, especially if you have, and I don't recommend like glutathione is just haphazardly, like to somebody, "Hey, everybody should be taking glutathione." I don't think that. But when you have very serious defects on your glutathione pathways and your glutathione recycling pathways, that is probably one of the reasons why you got cancer. Because if you can't get rid of poisons, that's what glutathione does. It gets rid of oxidizing agents. So oxidizing agents are going to damage your cells and are the leading cause of cancer. So the damage to your glutathione genes, you're going to have less glutathione, less support in your antioxidant pathways, less intracellular antioxidation, and more damage due to oxidizing agents like pesticides, chemicals, mycotoxins, heavy metals, all these different things that are causes of cancer. So that's my statement. I need your opinion. I have crackling in my lung, so going in for a chest x-ray, but still have lots of swelling. I've gained about 10 pounds in the last couple of weeks. This is the same person that asked another question above. The last PET scan showed some metastasis to the adrenal gland, so the doctor is concerned. She said this is normal for the treatment I'm on, Piqray and fulvestrant. Any thoughts before my appointment on Thursday? The crackling in your lungs is obviously the fluid that's built up in your lungs. I would talk to your oncologist about getting your lungs drained. If that's fluid that they can drain, if it's ascites fluid that they can drain off your lungs, that will make you feel so much better. So talk to them about that. That would be my advice on that for sure. Hoxi therapy is supposed to be effective for melanomas and lymphomas. Is this something I should consider? Well, Hoxi therapy can be beneficial for a lot of different cancers. And so it's something we do test for. If it's something you feel like you want to add to your protocol, by all means, you certainly can add it to your protocol. The herbs in Hoxi therapy you could argue would be good for everybody. So Hoxi therapy is a liquid herbal therapy that it's similar to Essiac. It's similar to the black sap bloodroot. It's got some of the same components as both of those. So with our testing, it doesn't test as commonly as Essiac or black sap bloodroot does, but it's still a great product. In your book, you have a section on GC-MAF. What is your current recommendation with GC-MAF for a patient with double hit lymphoma? What are your current results from using this treatment? What is the current availability and where, if this is a viable approach, what testing, AMOS or Nagalase, is recommended to track progress? Well, it's going to be a fast answer because we don't use GC-MAF. It's considered an invasive treatment. Legally, we can't use it. Now, there are some other clinics that are getting GC-MAF, and we've had discussions about this for a number of years. The place that in Britain where they made it was shut down. Somebody on the last Zoom call mentioned that there's some that company has restarted again, maybe in a different European country. I don't remember what the answer to that was. And you can get it again. The GC-MAF that was available in the between years was out in the Philippines, and a lot of doctors that I know that were using it said the results went drastically, so they didn't think that it was an equivalent product. So you will have to contact a different clinic about getting GC-MAF because we don't have that. My hemoglobin is 8.0 after radiation. I have absolutely no energy, so that's going to be a factor. So having low hemoglobin tends to follow with having no energy, but there can be other issues to having no energy. If you have fluid on your lungs, if you have, that's going to put pressure on your heart. That's going to decrease your heart pumping ability. That's going to decrease your energy. Lots of things are going to affect that. I have a friend that freeze-dried an organic liver and ovaries to help a mom with anemia after the baby was born. Is this something I could use? Yes, you can do that as well. The beet powders can be beneficial for anemia as well to get your hemoglobin up. And like we said, there's lots of different iron products out there that are natural that you can use. Designs for Health just came out with an organ product that's an all organic organ product that's a powder that we have on our store. That's a brand new product that they came out with, and I'm excited about. It's all from New Zealand animals. It has good organ food in it. Would you suggest that I just let it come up on its own? Well, no, you need to support it to come up because, you know, we will build back up after radiation, but you need to help support that. Last week, you said glutathione is good after radiation. After I have NRF2 supplement here that I haven't taken for a while, would that be something to add? Yes, that would be something to add too. Now, that's not going to, the glutathione isn't going to help get the hemoglobin up, but the glutathione can help get rid of help with cell damage from the radiation. So when you're trying to help healthy cells stay alive after radiation, glutathione again is your #1 intercellular antioxidant, and radiation is very strong oxidizing agent. My last cheek swab retesting, the quercetin, zinc, NaC, and magnesium glycinate were omitted from the supplement list. Do I continue these or omit? Only discontinue supplements that I say stop. I usually do that. I don't, sometimes I say discontinue, but usually I say stop or stop for now. If I didn't say that, continue those supplements. I take EstroClear, AromaClear, Sulforazyme, T-Vigo, ADT, Osteoforce, Selenium, Zinc Citrate, blah, 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 blah. All right, freezer, blah, blah. Also a vision support supplement. I want to take a day off each week. What are your thoughts on this? Yes, you can. So we've spoken a lot about pulsing your supplements, especially if you're doing well. And you, the person who asked this question, is doing really super duper. So yes, you could take off the weekend. You could take Saturday and Sunday off. And that can actually kind of help reset your body and help the supplements work better sometimes. So I'm all into pulsing your supplements. Matter of fact, I think we have a blog post about that. My cholangiocarcinoma is an adenocarcinoma and is metastatic. It recently metastasized to another area on my liver. Are there other supplements like modified citrus pectin or artemisinin that would help with metastasis? Are there other Rife frequencies that I should be doing? This question first, if you have metastasis, so you have liver cancer that metastasizes to the liver, well, that's an easy thing, it's still liver cancer. But if you have liver cancer that metastasizes to the colon, it's still liver cancer. It's not colon cancer. So the frequencies that you're using for liver cancer would still be appropriate. If you have breast cancer that metastasized to the adrenal gland or to the bone, it's still breast cancer cells in the bone or the adrenal gland. It's not adrenal cancer or bone cancer. So you still should be running the same frequencies. Now, if you have metastasis to bone, it might be appropriate to add some bone building frequencies. It might be appropriate to add some other frequencies. It might always be appropriate to be running other day programs based upon other comorbidities you might be dealing with. There are blood building programs, for instance, for a person who has low hemoglobin. So it may be appropriate to run those as well, but it's in your case, it's not necessary to change your frequencies. Are there supplements like modified citrus pectin or artemisinin that can help with metastasis? Typically, those are going to help with distant metastasis, meaning through the bloodstream to a distant organ. So modified citrus pectin can be beneficial for that. Really, there's no harm, no foul, anybody taking modified citrus pectin. That's the Pectisol C. Um, Anybody could take that to help prevent metastasis. It works as a mild chelator too for other things, so it can be beneficial for other things other than cancer. And you know how big of a fan of artemisinin I am. Talk about viral infections. Artemisinin is a key component to fight viral infections as well. After being diagnosed with cancer, pea-size, in my thyroid doctor recommended an ablation of the thyroid since I do not want to remove the thyroid. Are you familiar with this treatment for thyroid cancer? So they're just going to basically burn off that part of the cancer. I'm uncertain of doing that. Well, it's less invasive than having your entire thyroid gland removed. But it still may affect your thyroid's ability to produce T3 and T4. Those are the thyroid hormones. And you might have to get on either a supplemental approach to help stimulate what's left of your thyroid gland to help produce better, or and I would do that first before you go on the medication. Make sure that you're getting, when you're doing thyroid tests, that you're running a proper thyroid test. So a proper thyroid test is T4, T3, and then free T4, free T3, and then you're running TSH, and you're running thyroglobulin antibodies, and you're running reverse T3, and you're running TSH. So make sure you're getting a full panel of exactly what's going on with your thyroid as far as its ability to produce thyroid hormone, because lots of doctors will just run TSH or just run T3, T4, and TSH because it's cheaper and your insurance covers it. Make sure you ask for that full panel because you need a good picture of what's going on. Many times after thyroid treatment of ablation or removal, it's not uncommon that you end up with thyroid antibodies. That's the I said TSH there. I meant TPO antibodies. So that's the TPO antibodies and the thyroglobulin antibodies. That is what is called Hashimoto disease. If it's producing a hyper-responsive hyperproduction of T3, then it's called Graves' disease. But most of the time, it's Hashimoto's. It's going to produce a hypo response. So you're going to end up with low thyroid and elevated TPO or thyroglobulin antibodies. If you want to learn a ton more about that kind of stuff, that's why I made these courses. You could go to this course, the autoimmune course, and there's a whole module on Hashimoto, Graves' disease, and thyroid. That might be very beneficial for you. I was also diagnosed with thyroiditis. So thyroiditis is inflammation of the thyroid. Still not telling us why. So it's a good idea to find out why. I will say that any problems with the thyroid, so this is a good to know. Oh, I don't have thyroid issues. Okay, if you have cancer and your friend has thyroid issues, so many people have thyroid issues. You know somebody has thyroid issues. Okay, if you have thyroid issues of any kind, even if you don't have Hashimoto, I just have primary hypothyroidism. That means you don't have elevated antibodies, you just have low hormones, and maybe you're taking a supplement for that. Maybe you're taking a medication for that. If you have any thyroid issues, you have to stay off of gluten. So gluten is what's in, different foods, wheat and rye and millet and spelt. And so gluten is something you have to stay away from. Gliadin is the protein in gluten, and gliadin is a molecular mimic to the thyroid gland. So if you stay eating gluten and you have thyroid problems, you are going to have Hashimoto's. You're going to develop TPO or thyroglobulin antibodies, and it makes it more difficult to deal with. So you got to stay off gluten. So with thyroid issues, you have to make sure you're staying off gluten. So the thyroiditis, we still don't know what the cause of the thyroiditis is. So thyroiditis means you have inflammation of the thyroid, doesn't tell us why. So you'd have to get some further investigation of that. I have had to do what I have least wanted to do, and that is to take a med. Kisqali is for hormone-based cancers. So Kisqali is a drug daily medication for hormone positive, HER2 negative breast cancer. What can I take to support my body side effects through this? I don't want to be on them forever as they expect. I will go back to other methods after my numbers get under control. Well, if you're on a daily chemo type pill that's affecting your body, whether it be you're doing immunotherapy or you're doing IV chemotherapy, etc., you want to detoxify it. The negative effects of that, but you're not really going to be able to, you're not going to do something that's going to chelate the drug out. You want if you're going to take the drug, you want it to work. So you're really going to have to just support your body every way you know how to do it. You eat right, you try to take care of yourself, you try to support your liver detox pathways, you work on your parasympathetic control, you do coffee enemas, you're running the Rife, you're doing everything you need to do, is the right thing to do. And then unfortunately, you have to treat the comorbidities when they come up. It's just like, what can I do to prevent all my side effects of chemotherapy? There's nothing you could do to prevent all the side effects of chemotherapy. You have to deal with them as they come up. You don't know if you're going to have any side effects of chemotherapy. First of all, you do everything you know to do, which is right. And then you have to deal with things when they come up. There's nothing else you can do. It's like you have questions. Some people have had questions. I'm on immunotherapy and I'm afraid it's going to cause autoimmune disease. Can I help prevent that? Not really, no. You have to just treat it when it comes up. There's nothing else you can do. So I wish there was just a magic way that you didn't have any side effects of different things, but these are drugs that affect our body. And you just do the best you can, and you got to trust God for the difference. This is where faith comes in. You're putting your faith in Jesus Christ. You're not putting your faith in things. So properly applied faith is really important. What are your thoughts about using Georgia pine gum spirits of turpentine? I was not familiar with this at all. I actually looked up this company, very pure turpentine, really great. I am not familiar with using turpentine to treat disease. I know there's a turpentine protocol for cancer. I have no idea of any validity to it. I do not know. I cannot comment on that. I'm sorry. Are you familiar with Hoxsey Biomedical? Oh, another Hoxsey question. Hoxsey Biomedical is the clinic in Mexico that uses Hoxsey therapy. So you could go there and get Hoxsey therapy from their clinic, and they have some other therapies there. I think they do the Rife down there and some other things too. We've had a number of patients that have gone there that have liked them, and so it's just another type of therapy that you could do. We hear collagen is to our bones. It's like mortar is to bricks. Can collagen repair a large cavity? What about missing tooth enamel? So I think cavity, you're talking about cavity in your teeth. No, it's not going to repair a large cavity. There's a lot of different type of toothpaste that uses nanoized hydroxyapatite, microcrystalline hydroxyapatite, which is the type of calcium that goes into the tooth and into the bone. I actually use that toothpaste because of my sinus condition. I have to breathe through my nose at night and my teeth dry out, and I'm very prone to cavities. Since I started using the nanoized, micronized hydroxyapatite type toothpaste, I think you could get it I get it just on Amazon. I can't remember the brand. I'll maybe think of it before I'm done with this call. But there's other brands. There's other brands too that use nanoized hydroxyapatite in the toothpaste. That might be your best bet. Collagen is going to be really good for your connective tissue. Collagen really isn't going to build your bones, and maybe that's the metaphor here. Mortar is to bricks. Mortar holds the bricks together. Your collagen is going to help your connective tissue that holds the bones together. Collagen isn't going to build bone. I have used Ora Cassia. I'm not familiar with this brand of essential oils for years. Young Living essential oils are much more expensive. Do you think their quality is superior? No, I don't think so. Young Living is the one we sell, just because I trust their quality. doTERRA is really good quality too. There's lots of good quality essential oils out there, people, honestly. Both doTERRA and Young Living are multi-level marketing companies, which I'm not very big a fan of, but they sell a good product. So that's all I care about. So, but they're good products, but they are more expensive because they're multi-level than some of the things you can buy just over the counter. A lot of stuff you buy in the store, certainly I wouldn't trust very much you'd buy at Target or Walgreens or something like that. But I'm not familiar with this brand, so I really can't comment on that. Oh, this actually got in here. This was from last week. How to help somebody with radiation. Remember our radiation drops, homeopath, and this new one we have, this radialgin that can help pull out radiation from a homeopathic standpoint. We talked about glutathione that can help as an antioxidant as well. Could you please not abruptly end Zoom calls before the hour is up? If there's a lot of questions, could you please teach on something relevant till questions come in or till the time is done? We appreciate you very much. Thank you. Well, actually, these Zoom calls are supposed to be 30 minutes. So I'm going a lot longer than the 30 minutes. And we've just been averaging an hour for the last year or so. No, sometimes I just have to go. Sometimes I have other appointments. Sometimes I have meetings. So please just try to be organized and get your questions in as best you possibly can. I understand questions come up when you're hearing other people's questions and you need to ask a question. Sometimes I have to go and you just have to wait till next week. So I just don't know of any other clinic that has a platform like this where you could ask questions every week. So I'm not going to make any apologies for that. Could you explain your reservations and concerns with soft tissue radiation, please? To clarify, soft tissue radiation on hard tumors as well. So my real reservation and concern with soft tissue radiation, quite honestly, my real reservation is when they do this, blanket radiation post breast cancer surgery. I really have a trouble with that. It just, to me, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay, we're going to remove the tumor in the breast, and then we're going to radiate the whole breast. Come on, if there's breast cancer cells still there, well, there probably is for sure, but you're going to cause just as many cancer cells damaging the tissue from the radiation. Besides the fact that if there's metastasis, it's the circulating tumor cells have taken off throughout the body already, and that's not going to help. I am not against soft tissue radiation against you got a specific lymph node that you're hitting, or a sarcoma, or something like that you're hitting. Certainly radiation to the bone can kill, and you can get very specific and targeted on a tumor itself. It's just this blanket radiation that I'm really against. I have been doing coffee enemas for almost a year, 3 per day now while detoxing from chemo. They're amazing and effective. However, I too have had some hemorrhoidal symptoms. Is there help for this? Yes. You know what? I mean, look, I'm not sure if I have. I used to have a blog post on hemorrhoids and what to do for hemorrhoids. Let me look really quick. If I still have that up. Oh, I can't find it. off the top of my head. I will get a blog post up on hemorrhoids and some natural things to do for hemorrhoids, so that you could waste your time. I've had 2 rounds of IV chemo, 2 chemo drugs and an immunotherapy 3 weeks apart. I'm so grateful for your chemo advice. We and the oncologist are amazed at the tumor shrinkage. Praise God for that. Improved due to fasting the day before, except for that issue rash, which is said to be from the Keytruda. I've had hardly any side effects. Yesterday, I had to be gone, so was not able to do my usual detoxing coffee and an sauna. In the morning by 1 o'clock, I was nauseous, lethargic, achy, and headache. I came home and did a coffee enema, and the symptoms immediately disappeared. How miserable if I had to feel that way all the time. Thank you so much. Absolutely. All right, some questions that came in. I had to take an antibiotic a few weeks ago for an infection. It totally messed with my gut. I've taken the Clear Digest. The Clear Digest is not going to fix the damage that the antibiotic did, but the Clear Digest will help you replace the HCl in your stomach to make sure you're digesting your food real well and to give you digestive enzymes to help you with digestion of your food. And it doesn't help much. So that's why it's not helping much. My chemo nurse suggested I take a probiotic. Yes, she's right. What is your opinion of me taking a course of probiotics? If favorable, how long should I take it? Well, you can take probiotics every day and continuously. I don't think they're necessary to take every day continuously, but definitely you need to take a probiotic. Matter of fact, there's numerous studies that have came out. If you have to take an antibiotic and you take a probiotic, and it wasn't even specific to any type of probiotic, they actually studied all these different specific probiotics, and all of them work the exact same way in the fact that they help prevent damage to the gut. So just get on a probiotic. We have a ProBioClear probiotic that I'm really excited about, that it's because it's a certain strain that will also help with the brain, and that can be really good to prevent any infection in the brain. Plus, it can be really good to help with chemo brain. So ProBioClear is the new one in the store. That's our private labeled one. And I would just take it, until you feel like your gut's better, and then maybe take it for another week and then start taking it only a couple times a week. What vitamin D level do you recommend? I often heal in the natural world that it would be good to be at least 100, but I can't seem to get mine over 55. I'm taking 3,000, I think, IU per day. So if you're only if your vitamin D level is 55, it's not like horribly low, but you do want to get that level up. And you're taking 3,000 IU per day is a low amount for somebody with cancer. So I would triple that for a period of time until you get your next blood test. We have some people that take 30,000 IU a day. Don't take that, but I would triple that. If 3,000 got you to 55, I would think if you got up closer to 10,000 per day, you would get up closer to 100. What's your favorite way to preserve beets for the winter? Well, we have done. We typically don't preserve our beets. We grow a lot of beets, but we typically don't preserve beets for the winter because we eat them all. Because my wife and I both really like beets. Matter of fact, that's one of the last things that we have in our garden. So your root crops can stay in your garden until you can't dig them out anymore. So we still have probably a quarter of our beets in the ground. So we leave them in the ground and we'll pull them and eat them. It does get to a point where there's going to be some, deep frost that is going to accumulate, and we use raised beds for most of our vegetables. So we end up having to pull them, but up till this point, we've just eaten them. Now this year we put in a lot more beets, so we might preserve them, but root crops can preserve in a root cellar. So we'll just dry them off, and then we'll put them with our potatoes. That's what we'll do. So we grow a lot of potatoes. We grow a lot of onions. Onions are one of our favorite things to eat. So we grow a lot of onions, a lot of potatoes, a lot of vegetables, and I wanted to make a bunch of videos on our garden because we have an enormous garden. Um, so it's uh it's it's a very pretty garden too. Um, but we also have a freeze drying. So the other thing you can do is cook the beets and then slice them up and freeze dry them if you have a freeze dryer. Otherwise, you can can the beets. Um, Beets are not high in acid, so you'd have to, I believe you'd have to pressure cook them. But that's another way to preserve them. You can pickle the beets, another way to preserve them. Angie shared a couple blog posts about um, the hemorrhoids. So she did find the hemorrhoid blog post. One treatment is Collisonia root for hemorrhoids. Make sure you're running the RIFE program for hemorrhoids. And then here I give some other, actually there's a couple different blog posts for hemorrhoids. So if you just search that on our blog, you'll find that. Thank you, Angie, for that. Speaking of gardens, this year was the first year we grew cayenne pepper. Um, for years, I was never a fan of spicy foods. Learned to grow to like cayenne pepper because of such health benefits of cayenne pepper. Plus, two of my son-in-laws are really big into hot peppers and hot spices, so they've kind of gotten me into that. Well, now I've become kind of a connoisseur of some of the cayenne pepper sauces, and I've made a lot of my own cayenne pepper sauce, which is really, really good. I think my son-in-laws love it too. But it's kind of like Red's pepper, some red sauce, if you guys ever use that. By the way, if you don't use that, think about adding that. Red's brand, REDS brand, is just cayenne pepper and maybe onion in it, maybe garlic in it, and vinegar. That's how I make mine. So I just boil the cayenne peppers. I put garlic in it too and some onion in it in vinegar and boil it for 30 minutes and then put it through the food processor and grind it down and blend it up really, really smooth. And then I put it through a sieve and straight out any of the seeds or anything else that, is thick because I want the sauce to be more liquidy to put it on. It is phenomenal. If you can start eating red sauce, it can be fantastic for your body. Cayenne is so good to help your the blood system. Talk about detoxing and helping with viruses and COVID. Cayenne pepper is a fantastic thing. It's hard to find a good cayenne pepper supplements though. So making your own or just trying to learning to like hot sauce, and I would get the Red's brand hot sauce because I think it's the cleanest. And then try it. I hated it for years. If you try it, cayenne is so, so good for you. We do have cayenne in some different supplements, but if you can learn to like it on your food, it's even better. Now I put cayenne on my eggs and hot sauce on everything, and it's just really tasty. All right, with that, we will bid adieu. Thank you guys all for being on, and know that I'm praying for you. I hope that you guys are praying for each other too. It's so important that we are one in prayer, that we're praying for each other to not only be healed, but to through our cancer to grow and learn to love the Lord in a deeper way. All right.